Hello guys, very good morning, good afternoon and good evening for all of you. In our previous class, we were doing chapter 4 which talks about procedural compliance under GST. In that first part is chapter 4.1 which speaks about the registration. Registration's provisions are covered in section 22 to 30 of CGST Act. We have already covered few sections in our previous chapter, that is section 22, which talks about persons who are liable for registration. We also call it as conditional registration. There are totally 4 subsections here. Subsection 1 is very important, which tell a person whose aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakh in case of normal states or 10 lakh in case of 4 special category states, that is MMNT in short, he has to get registered under GST. So after a person is getting liable to get registered, section 25 will tell what is the procedure to get registered. Okay, so there are other 3 subsections also which are not so important, but still subsection 2 tells if the persons whoever was liable to be registered or who is already registered under previous indirect tax regime before the introduction of GST should get registered under GST. Then subsection 3 and 4 will tell if there is any transfer of business. So if a registered business is transferred to another person, then the transferee should mandatorily get registered under GST. Means he has to get, irrespective of his turnover, he has to get registered under GST. Then coming to section 24, we will go to 24. 24 will talks about mandatory registration. Irrespective of the turnover, in 11 cases, the persons are supposed to get mandatory registration. But here, 3 persons, whoever is covered under 24, an exception has been given under section 23. So 23 will tell in the following cases registration is not required. So 23.1 tells a person who is exclusively supplying something which is exempt under GST or non-taxable under GST need not get registered under GST, irrespective of his turnover. If he is supplying only whatever is exempt under GST or on which the GST is not applicable, or else agriculturist who is supplying the product out of the cultivation of the land, if he is supplying anything which he has cultivated in his land only, then he also need not get registered under GST. This is given in section 23 subsection 1. Then coming to subsection 2, it gives power to notify any other scenarios. Using this power, the government has notified 3 cases. That is, see, section 24 will tell when supplier is something on which the recipient is chargeable to tax or liable to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism, it is mandatory that recipient should get registered. Section 24 tells. 23 is telling the supplier, if he is supplying only the goods or services on which RCM is applicable, then supplier need not get registered under GST. Supplier need not get registered under GST. Okay, sir. Next, section 24 will tell if any person is engaged in interstate supply of goods or services, he has to get registered. But section 23 read with notification as specified. If a person is engaged in interstate supply of services, then if his aggregate turnover is up to 20 lakh in case of normal state or 10 lakh in other states, then they need not get registered. Okay. Then coming to one more scenario, that is interstate supply of goods. That is only 2 goods, that is handicraft goods or the goods made by the craftsman. If any person, including casual taxable person, is supplying handicraft goods or the goods made by craftsman predominantly by hand outside the state, they need not get registered. But if their aggregate turnover is up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh, if it is crossing the limit, yes, they have to get registered. They should have PAN and they would have generated e-way bill. Some conditions are there. Only then for them mandatory registration is not there. If you are supplying any other goods outside the state, then as per section 24, you have to get registered. Mandatory registration is there. Yeah. Yes, sir. So 22, 23, 24 talks about who should get registered. And there is also a notification as per the proviso. Section 23 subsection 1 proviso gives power to the government to extend the limit of 20 lakh to 40 lakh for the exclusive supplier of goods. Using this power, the government has released a notification telling for the exclusive supplier of goods within the state, the aggregate turnover is not 20 lakh, it is 40 lakh. But it is not applicable in the following cases. Like it is not applicable in case of 10 states, that is 8 states, whatever has been taken as special states for section 10, as it is you take, plus TP, that is Telangana and Puducherry, or PT, TP or PT, however you consider. Okay. Then if you are a supplier of IPT, that is ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, then for you 40 lakh limit is not applicable. It is 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Then if you are covered under section 24, which talks about mandatory registration, or if you have taken a voluntary registration. So in the following cases, 40 lakh limit is not applicable. In all other cases, if a person is supplying the goods within the state, then the aggregate turnover limit for registration is 40 lakh, guys. For services, it is always 20 lakh or 10 lakh. What if I am supplying both goods as well as services? Then it is always 20 lakh or 10 lakh in case of MMNT. Yeah, 40 lakh limit is only for the exclusive supplier of goods within the state. But one services can be provided, that is by way of extending loans and advances, which is exempt under GST. So even if you are providing that services also, you will be considered as exclusive supplier of goods only, as per the explanation. Clear? This is about 22, 23, 24, which talks about who should get registered. Agree now, guys? Yes, sir. And in detail, whatever I am just telling now is highlight points, guys. In detail, we have covered it in our previous class. Okay, this is just like a quick recap of whatever we have covered in our previous class. Then coming to section 25, which talks about procedure for registration. 25.1 is very, very important, which specifies a person who is liable for registration has to apply for registration within 30 days of being liable for registration. And there is one rule called Rule 10, which is very important again, which tells if a person has applied for registration within 30 days of becoming liable for registration, then the effective date of registration is the date on which he was liable for registration. Clear? Yes, sir. Then coming to, sir, what if the person has applied after 30 days? Then the effective date of registration will be the date of grant of registration. The date of grant of registration. And under GST, registration has to be taken state-wise. That is for each and every state, wherever you are having or wherever you are having operations or supplying the goods or services, you have to take separate registration. Within the state, one registration is mandatory. If you want, you can take multiple registrations also. But if you take multiple registration, then they will treat it as distinct person, and you have to pay tax on the goods transferred from one branch to another branch. And within the state, if you have two branches, one is in SEZ, another one is in non-SEZ, then two registration is mandatory for you, because SEZ for the purpose of GST will be considered as a location outside India, guys. Clear? Yes, sir. And PAN, that is permanent account number, is a must for a registration under GST, except for NRTP, that is non-resident taxable person. Under GST, the registration is PAN based and state wise. It means when a person registration is done, registration certificate will be issued in REG 6, in which GST IN number of that particular person will be mentioned. That is GST identification number, which is a 15-digit number, guys. Clear? So these are the important things which we have covered. Plus 26 also we have covered. 26 tells if a person has got a registration under CGST or UTGST Act, it is deemed that he is also registered under CGST Act. Or if his application for registration is rejected under any CGST Act or UTGST Act, it is deemed that his application for CGST also is rejected. So we have covered this many sections in our previous class, guys. So our today's agenda is to cover the remaining section, that is 27, 28, 29 and 30, and complete this registration topic. Is that clear? Sure. So come to the notebook where you have written the section number at the beginning. Come quickly. Let us write the sections whatever we would be covering today. So I think we have done till 26. So 26 is deemed registration under CGST Act, guys. So next write 27. Next write 27. Provisions relating to casual taxable person. Provisions relating to casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person and non-resident taxable person. Yeah, yes. Next you write 28 under section number column 28. Amendment of registration. Amendment of registration means after you obtain the registration, you can change few informations. That is called as amendment of registration. Then section 29. Then you write 29. Cancellation or surrender of registration. Cancellation or surrender of registration. Yeah, last one 30. Revocation of cancellation of registration. Revocation of cancellation of registration. Fine guys, so today we will be covering all these 4 sections and we will be finishing the registration topic, and whatever we would be learning under section 22 to 30 with respect to registration is also applicable for interstate supply. Means even if you are supplying interstate goods or services also, it is applicable guys. There is no separate provisions under IGST Act for registrations. So it is as it is whatever we are learning under CGST Act. Clear? Yes sir. Now chalo, come to section 27 guys. Yeah, this part. Come to this after section 26. To the extent possible, I am covering all the provisions in the section number order only guys, except in one place, that is in the payment and returns. I will be covering it vice versa. We will see there, but till now whatever we are covering it in the section order, so that it would be easy for you also. Yeah, to relate the provisions with the section numbers. Yeah, let me start guys. Grant of registration in case of casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person, section 27. So section 27 covers 2 special peoples. So we have seen these 2 names here and there before also. I had told you these 2 people are the special people under GST. We will be covering it later. So what is it? Casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person are like 2 special category people under GST for whom registration will be granted separately, and some special provisions are applicable for them. Sir, who are they? What are the special provisions applicable for them? We'll be learning in this guys. Clear? First, let us try to understand who is casual taxable person, who is non-resident taxable person. Then we will learn what is given in section 27. Clear? So the provisions applicable for casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person is given in section 27. Who is casual taxable person? Who is non-resident taxable person have been defined under section 2. Clear? First we will try to understand that, then we will go to the provisions guys. Come on, pay attention here. I will just give simple meaning first. Casual taxable person means a person is registered in one state. He is registered in one state. He is having regular business in that state. Now he is going to the other state for some temporary period. To do business. For example, 15 days, 30 days or 45 days, something like that. A temporary period, not regular business. So in that case, for that state where he is going to do the business for a temporary period is called as casual taxable person. He is casually coming, doing business for 15 days and going back. So he should take registration as casual taxable person guys. Clear? Now let me give an example. Means my own example I will take. Now assume I am registered in Karnataka state. In Karnataka, I am doing my regular business. From years together, I am doing it. So here I would have taken registration as regular person. Okay, sir. Regular registered person. Now, I am a manufacturer who is selling my products in Karnataka. So I am registered here. Now, there is one exhibition which is happening in Maharashtra. There is one exhibition which is happening in Maharashtra. So I want to go participate in that exhibition for 15 days. So that the exhibition will go on for 15 days and sell my products there and sell my products in the exhibition. Now, can I go simply sell my products in Maharashtra and come back? No. So now you are going and doing the business there for temporary period of 15 days. So in Maharashtra, I am supposed to take registration as casual taxable person. Casual taxable person. So before I go and do the business there, I should have taken the registration. Not after I do the business. Before I start my business in Maharashtra, I am supposed to take the registration. I will be knowing from when the exhibition starts. Agree? So assume the exhibition is starting from 1st December. So I should have taken the registration before 1st December only. Clear? So section 25 also will tell casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person should apply for registration 5 days before they start their business. 5 days before they commence their business. So 5 days before I commence my business, I should have applied for registration. And okay, and also I should have obtained the registration before I commence my business. Without registration, I cannot do my business. That thing is there. Clear? Yes, that is what is given in section 27 and all. But first, let us understand who is casual taxable person. Hope you guys got an idea. Clear? So, is a registered person in one state where he is doing a regular business. Now he is going to another state to do the business for a temporary period. So, as you are doing the business for temporary period, so normal registration and all is not required for you. You take the registration as a special person, that is called casual taxable person. So for them, the registration also will be granted only for a shorter period. Clear? Yes, sir. Next, non-resident taxable person. Now, okay, first let us see the definition of casual taxable person. Casual taxable person have been defined in section 2 clause 20, guys. 2 clause 20. So what is it? We will see. Casual taxable person is a person who occasionally means not regularly, occasionally, once in a while or for a few days, something like that, undertakes transactions involving supply of goods or services or both in the course or furtherance of business, whether as a principal, agent or in any other capacity. However he is acting, we don't care about it. So he is doing some temporary business occasionally, where he don't have regular business. So in that case, in a state or union territory where he has no fixed place of business, so he is doing some business in a state or union territory where he does not have fixed place of business. I don't have my office in Maharashtra. I don't have any branches in Maharashtra. In that case, in Maharashtra, who am I? Casual taxable person. Sir, what if I have a branch? What if I have a office in Maharashtra? Then you will take registration separately, normal registration only, not as casual taxable person. So please be very careful. Here from Karnataka to Maharashtra, I have gone only to do some business for 15 days. So those who want to do business for 15 days, they normally who participate in exhibition and all, they will not have any fixed place of business there. Agree? If they have fixed place of business, then that operations also will become a regular business for them, not occasional. It will become regular for him. Agree? Yes, sir. Thus, a casual taxable person is someone who has a business in different state but comes to a different state for a business purpose temporarily. So he has business in one state, is carrying on there, but now he's coming temporarily for another state to do the business. Example, a footwear dealer registered in Agra comes for an exhibition in Azad Maidan, Mumbai. For participating in the exhibition, then such person would need to register as a casual taxable person at Mumbai. Mumbai in the sense Maharashtra. And he will be granted registration for a maximum period of 90 days in Maharashtra. For a casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person, maximum registration will be granted for 90 days. Where is it given? It is given in section 27. We will see it. It is not mentioned in 230. 220 only specifies who is casual taxable person. That's all. The procedure and all is given in section 27. Yeah, first we will see the definition, then we will go and learn what is given in section 27, guys. Okay, now coming to 77. So 2 clause 77 defines non-resident taxable person. Again, one of the special category person. Who is he? Let me just tell it in simple words. Later we will go through the definition. Come on, focus. Yeah. Non-resident taxable person means is a non-resident. So settled outside India, doing business outside India. Okay, sir. Now he has come to India for a temporary period. He has not opened any branch in India. He is not opening any office in India. He is coming to India for doing some temporary business. Okay. So in India, he doesn't have any fixed place of business. He is also a non-resident. He is not a resident. Yeah. Okay, sir. So in that case, he was having a business outside India, assume in USA. Now he is coming to India to do some business only for 30 days. In that case, should he take the registration? Yes. As who? Non-resident taxable person. He should take registration as non-resident taxable person, guys. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Chalo. Let us see. Section 2 clause 77, non-resident taxable person as any person who is a person who is any person who occasionally again. So he is also taking the occasionally is undertaking the transactions involving supply of goods or services or both, whether as principal or agent or otherwise, but who has no fixed place of business or residence in India. So here one more extra point is residence, because he is a non-resident, so even that point has been mentioned. So it does not have any fixed place of business in India, and he is also not resident of India, guys. Clear? In simple, he is a person from outside India doing business there, coming to India for temporary period to occasionally undertake some transaction, not regularly. So hence, a non-resident taxable person is someone who has a business outside India but comes to India for a business purpose temporarily. Is coming to India temporarily. Casual taxable person is an Indian only. He was doing business in some state. He is going to the another state to do temporary business. That is different. Non-resident taxable name itself is telling non-resident. He was outside India, coming to India for doing business temporarily or occasionally for a shorter period or for a temporary period. Example, a person from Paris is a place outside India, comes for an exhibition at Azad Maidan, Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra, for participating in the exhibition. Then such person would need to register as a non-resident taxable person at Mumbai, and he will be granted registration for a maximum period of 90 days in Maharashtra. Is that clear, guys? Yes. So we have understood who is casual taxable person, who is non-resident taxable person. So section 27 has told what they have to do. What is the procedure applicable for non-resident taxable person and casual taxable person is given in section 27. So it has two subsections. Subsection 1. The certificate of registration issued to a casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person shall be valid for a specific period specified in the application for registration or 90 days from the effective date of registration, whichever is earlier, and such person shall make taxable supply only after the issuance of certificate of registration. So the registration for CTP and NRTP, let us call him as short forms. CTP means casual taxable person, NRTP means non-resident taxable person, guys. So now the registration for CTP and NRTP will be granted for the period whatever they have requested in the application. So they will make the application for registration. So for what period they have asked the registration, assume for 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, whatever period they have asked for, registration will be granted. But maximum is 90 days. Sir, what if they have asked the registration for more than 90 days? Registration will be granted only for 90 days. Clear? So assume I have made an application for getting the registration as casual taxable person for 120 days. Will the registration be granted for 120 days? No. Maximum is 90 days. They will grant the registration only for 90 days. Okay, sir. And I can start my business. I can supply the goods or services as casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person only after obtaining the certificate. That is registration certificate. Can I start supplying the goods and services before obtaining the registration certificate? No, you cannot. Okay, sir. And one more thing. We discussed, sir, the maximum period of registration that will be granted for the casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person is 90 days. But assume you had taken a registration previously for 90 days. Now the exhibition got extended. So we got a huge response for exhibition. So the organizers thought, let us extend it for another 2 months or 1 month. In that case, can I extend my registration? Yes, you can extend. For that, again, you need to make an application for extension of registration. The extension will be granted again for a maximum 90 days. Okay, so total is 180 days. So straight away you cannot take registration for 180 days. When you are taking registration is when you are taking registration, the maximum period is 90 days. Okay, sir. Registration is granted. Later, can I ask for extension? Yes, you can ask for. You can ask for extension, but again, maximum 90 days. Maximum 90 in the sense, extension can be given for 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, any days. But maximum is 90 days, guys. Yeah. So including extension, it will be 90 plus 90, 180. Okay. But always, whenever any question is asked, you have to specify the registration granted to CTP or NRTP will be granted, will be valid only for maximum 90 days, which can be further extended for another maximum 90 days. Okay. So please don't straight away write 180 days. It will be wrong, guys. Clear? Yes. So proviso is there for subsection 2, provided that the proper officer may on sufficient cause being shown by the said taxable person, means only in genuine cases the extension will be given. Extend the said period of 90 days by a further period not exceeding 90 days. So you can extend it for another 90 days. Maximum is 90. So it is like 90 plus 90, guys. Yeah, but straight away I have told you, you cannot take the registration for 180 days. Maximum you can take registration is for 90 days. Okay, sir. Assume you have taken the registration for 60 days. Now, can I take the extension? Yes. For how long can I take the extension? 90 days. 90 days. Okay. So you guys, some of you might also get this doubt. Sir, first I have taken the registration. I have applied for registration. In the application, I have asked for 60 days registration. Okay. I have taken it. Okay, sir. But after 60 days, the exhibition is getting extended for another 2-3 months. So can I take the extension? Yes, you can take the extension. For maximum how many days? 90 days. Sir, can I extend it for 120 days because here I took only for 60 days now? No carry forward effect and all here. So again, you can take the extension, but maximum 90 only. It cannot be added. Sir, anyway, 30 days short I have taken here. Can I add that 30 here? No, you cannot. Clear, guys? Yes, sir. Next, subsection 2 will tell, whenever a person is applying for registration as casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person, then they have to pay advance tax, means based on the estimation. So assume I am taking registration as casual taxable person for 60 months. Estimate what can be my tax. I should estimate what may be my tax liability for this 60 days, and I have to pay it in advance to the department. Only then the registration will be granted. Only then the registration will be granted. Clear? So I repeat, I want to take the registration in Maharashtra as casual taxable person for 60 days. So when you are making the application, you have to estimate. I need to estimate my tax liability, how much it might be for this 60 days on an estimation basis. Obviously, it will not be accurate exact figure. So do the estimation. Based on that estimation, deposit the tax. At the time of making application itself, deposit the tax. Why? This is like a proof, because you are doing and going and doing business in a new place and for temporary period. So what if you run away after supplying the goods and services here? If you run away, who will catch hold of you? Especially in case of NRTP, non-resident taxable person. How can I trace you? Okay, people taking loan from Indian banks and they are running away. Indians only. So, non-resident taxable persons, how can we trust you? So, please pay some tax in advance. Okay, even for casual taxable person, you are coming from Karnataka. So, you are doing some temporary business in Maharashtra. What if you run away without paying the tax? So, that is why they are trying to collect the tax in advance only, guys. Clear? So, let me explain this provision now again in detail. Now, I am taking registration in as casual taxable person in Maharashtra for 60 days. Okay, sir. So they're asking me at the time of making the application, I need to deposit the tax based on my estimated tax liability. Okay, sir. Now I paid 1 lakh, estimating my tax liability for 60 days will be 1 lakh. I deposited it. Okay, sir. So at the end of 60 days, after 60 days, there are two possibilities. After 60 days, there are two possibilities. Obviously, my actual tax liability will not be exactly 1 lakh. Correct now? Because 1 lakh is an estimation figure. So what is my actual tax liability? We will see. So there are two possibilities. So assume my actual tax liability came to 1,50,000. So in that case, what will I do? I will pay the remaining 50,000 to the department. That is to the Maharashtra state and then come. Clear? Means depends on which supply I am making. Obviously, I would be making intra-state supply there. So 50,000 remaining shortfall amount, I need to pay it, guys. It's not like, okay, I have already paid 1 lakh, so I will not pay anything more. No, you cannot tell that. So remaining amount, if any, at the end of your registration, you have to clear it. Okay. Now, sir, my actual tax liability came to only 80,000. I have already paid 1 lakh based on my estimation. I have overestimated it. Actually, my tax liability at the end of 60 days came to only 80,000. In that case, you can claim a refund of 20,000. You can claim a refund of 20,000. Whatever amount extra you have deposited. Clear, guys? Just some. Chalo, now we'll see what is given in subsection 2. A casual taxable person or a non-resident taxable person shall, at the time of submission of application for registration under section 25(1). So 25(1) talks about application has to be made within so and so time. Make an advance deposit. So they have to make advance deposit when? Along with the application. Along with the application of tax in an amount equivalent to the estimated tax liability. So you will estimate what will be its tax liability of such person for the period for which the registration is sought. So I am asking for 60 days registration. So I am mentioning it in my application. I need registration for 60 days in Maharashtra as casual taxable person. So I should also estimate my tax liability and I need to pay it for 60 days. Provided further that where any extension of time is sought under subsection 1, such taxable person shall deposit an additional amount of tax equivalent to estimated tax liability of such person for the period for which the extension is sought. So now, sir, I have taken the registration for 60 days. Now I am asking for another 60 days. I want to extend my registration. So again, for extension also you need to make an application telling, sir, why I want extension for how long anta. So I am asking for an extension for another 60 days. So again, for this 60 days also estimate your tax liability, pay it, only then extension will be granted to you. Only then extension will be granted to you. Clear? Yes. Next, the amount deposited under subsection 2 shall be credited to your electronic cash ledger. So we have seen always the amount should be deposited into cash ledger. From there we will utilize to pay tax, interest, fee, penalty, any amount. So here whatever casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person is depositing as an advance tax, that will be credited to what? Electronic cash ledger, their own electronic cash ledger of such person shall be utilized in the manner provided under section 49. So whatever amount, so for example here I deposited 1 lakh na, so 1 lakh rupees will be credited to my electronic cash ledger. So whenever I actually supply, this was estimation, so whenever I actually supply On that I am liable to pay tax, output tax. Okay, so whenever you are liable to pay tax, you keep on debiting it. 10,000, 20,000, whatever amount, including interest, fee, penalty. So whenever you are liable to pay output tax, you keep on debiting it here. Yeah, at the end, if there is any difference, it will be settled. Clear? Yes, sir. Then one more thing. This is with respect to section 25. I have just given here as a connection. As per proviso to section 25 subsection 1, casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person shall apply for registration at least 5 days prior to commencement of business. So please be careful with all these points, guys. Proviso to section 25. See, section 25 subsection 1 is telling whoever is liable for registration, they have to apply for registration within 30 days. That is for those who are taking normal registration. But this to special people, the proviso to section 25(1) is telling these two people have to apply for registration 5 days before they start their business or commence their business as casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person. And the registration certificate here, section 25(1) is telling you cannot start your business until you are issued a registration certificate. So without the registration certificate, you cannot do your business. That is very clear for CTP and NRTP. And some more provisions with respect to this, guys. See, for them, the registration application is different. For actually casual taxable person, it is REG 1 only, the application. Whereas for non-resident taxable person, it is different. And also the returns which has to be filed by them is also different. Then coming to some special provisions, see, which we have already seen. I just want to highlight that point here so that you guys can connect. If you want, you can also mention those points here. These two people are covered under section 24, guys. Means CTP and NRTP, for them registration is mandatory. So they have to take registration irrespective of their turnover because they are covered under section 24. Very important. But if a casual taxable person is supplying handicraft goods or goods made by the craftsmen even outside the state, if their turnover is up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh in case of MMNT, they need not get registered. If you are supplying any other goods as CTP or NRTP, you have to get registered. Whether supplying goods or services, irrespective of your turnover, you have to get registered, guys, under GST. Yeah. So 24 will tell these two people should get registered. Then coming to section 10, which talks about composition scheme. There are two composition schemes. Both the composition scheme are not available for CTP and NRTP. You can see the following persons cannot opt for composition scheme is there. Under both the scheme, that is 10(1) and 10(2)A, both the schemes are not allowed for these two people. Clear? So we have covered these points already when we were covering the respective topic, that is section 10 composition scheme, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to connect that here so that you will know all the points with respect to CTP. So for CTP and NRTP, the registration forms are different and returns is different. What are those? We will see it. Okay, as we proceed further, we will be seeing it. See, guys, these two topics, that is CTP and NRTP, till now they are not asked the question in the exam on this section 27, but still it is important. That is what I feel. This section is important. So till now they have not asked the question in the exam, but still please give importance for this section. I feel it is important, and somewhere in the future, at least in the coming attempts, they will ask question on this section 27. Clear? So please don't ignore this section, guys. Anything I do in the class is important only. Clear? I would be telling what is covered in the exam, what is not covered in the exam anta. But with respect to coverage, yes, we will be covering everything, whatever is important. Because if something is not important at all, definitely I will also be not covering, guys. Clear? But still, so on these things, so few topics are there on which questions might not be asked in the exam, but still you have to be ready. Who knows, in the upcoming exams questions might come. Clear? So I will tell few of the topic which is not at all important for CS, means company secretary students. Few topics might not at all be important. Okay, completely ignore the topic. So those topic also I would be telling, okay, this is not important for you. You can just go through it once. I don't expect any questions on this in the exams. So like that also I would be specifying it. And what are the topics which is very, very important from the exam point of view, on which they are repeatedly asking the question. We have spoke about that also, like section 10, one of the best example. They are repeatedly asking the question on that. Agree. So here also on registration or aggregate turnover calculation, this actually chapter 4.1, which talks about registration, is completely theoretical concept, except aggregate turnover calculation. So in 2 exams, they've asked question on aggregate turnover calculation, guys, which is very, very easy for you guys to do it. Yeah. Chalo. Next, we'll go to the next topic. Grant of registration to a person required to deduct tax at source and collect tax at source. See, section 51 and 52. We have not yet covered this. I'm just mentioning this. Yeah. Section 51 specifies something, that is, in the following cases, TDS has to be deducted by the payer from the payee. So whoever is paying the amount, he will deduct the TDS as per the provisions of section 21. So section 24 is telling whoever is supposed to get whoever is supposed to deduct TDS as per section 51, for them registration is mandatory as per section 24. Yeah. Yes, sir. Same way here, electronic commerce operator. Electronic commerce operator is supposed to collect TCS on few transactions which is happening through them. So electronic commerce operator is like a platform. So there is some supply of goods or services which is tracking through them. So on some transaction, electronic commerce operator is supposed to collect TCS on the transaction which is happening through them. So section 24 is telling, if an electronic commerce operator is supposed to collect TCS as per section 52, then that electronic commerce operator has to get registered under GST. So for these 2 people, whoever is deducting TDS as per section 21 or whoever is collecting TCS as per section 52, that is electronic commerce operator, for them registration is mandatory as per section 24. Agree? Yes, sir. So rule 12 is talking about that part, means what they will do, how they will get registration is given here. Yeah. So section 51, 52, we are yet to cover it. We have not covered it. We will be covering it in the same chapter under payment topic. Payment of tax is a separate topic which we would be covering in the same chapter. So there I would be covering both the section 51, 52, actually important sections. Questions are asked on those. Clear? Yes, sir. Sure. Rule 12 of CGST rules provide that there are totally 3 sub rules here. That is like 12 sub rule 1, 12 sub rule 2, 12 sub rule 3, guys. Clear? To the extent possible, everything including section, rules, everything, I have tried to arrange it in the section or subsection order or sub rules order, something like that. Clear? And rules and all, see, some important rules I would be telling. For example, rule 10, very, very important. Clear? Sir, rule 12, is it important? See, if you don't remember the rules, fine, guys. Okay, what you can do as per CGST rules. If you don't remember the exact rule number, you can just write as per CGST rules 2017. That will be your like simple answer. So if you remember, see, rule numbers, remembering all the rules is a bit tough. I agree with it. But section number, you should be knowing it. I have told you guys. So at professional levels, you are expected to know the section numbers along with subsections and all. So that for there is no options. With respect to rules and all, I suggest you, yes, you need not remember all the rules. There are some important rules which I will highlight in the class. I will tell you, please do remember this, Santa. Other things, yes. If you can remember, yes, good. But if not, no problem. You can just write as per CGST rules. If you are answering anything with respect to this point, you can just mention. If you don't remember the exact rule number, you can just write as per CGST rules 2017. Yeah, let us see. Rule 12, sub rule 1. Any person who is required to deduct tax in accordance with the provisions of section 51, or a person required to collect tax at source in accordance with the provisions of section 52, shall electronically submit an application duly signed or verified through an electronic verification code in form GST REG 7 for grant of registration through the common portal. So they will make the application. See, normal persons actually make the application for registration in REG1. But here you are taking registration as not normal taxable person. You are taking registration, why? For the purpose of deducting TDS or for the purpose of collecting TCS. So you have to make the application in REG7, which is a separate form. Okay. The proper officer may grant registration after due verification and issue a certificate of registration in REG6. Registration certificate will always be granted in REG6 only for anyone. Okay. Within a period of 7 working days from the date of submission of application. So application for registration has been submitted in REG7. So registration certificate has to be granted within 7 working days in REG6. That is what sub-rule 2 is telling. Then coming to sub-rule 3, where upon an inquiry or pursuant to any other proceedings under the Act, the proper officer is satisfied that a person to whom a certificate of registration in form REG6 has been issued is no longer liable to deduct tax at source under section 51 or collect tax at source under section 52, the said officer may cancel the registration. He may cancel the registration issued under sub-rule 2, and such cancellation shall be communicated to the said person electronically in form REG8. 7, 8, 8, 6, 7, 8, all three are covered here. You can see, guys. So I will repeat, please pay attention. So the person, whoever is covered under section 51 or 52, has to get mandatory registration as per section 24. Okay, sir. So they will make an application in REG7. Okay. And within 7 days, it will be granted. Registration certificate will be granted to this person. So here no question of rejecting and all, obviously, because they are taking registration to help the government. Why will you reject their application? Agree? Because they will collect the TCS or deduct the TDS and give it to the government. So obviously government is willing to give you the registration. They will not reject it. There is no grounds to reject there. Okay, registration certificate will be granted within 7 working days in REG6. Okay, sir. Now assume after granting your registration after 1 or 2 years, now section 51 is not applicable or section 52 is not applicable. You are not covered under section 51 or 52. So now my registration is no use. So can it be cancelled? Yes. The proper officer can cancel your registration and communicate it to you in REG8 that your registration is cancelled as you are no more covered under section 51 or 52. Clear, guys? Yes. Next. Provided that the proper officer shall follow the procedure as provided in rule 22 for cancellation of registration. So for cancellation, some procedure is there which is given in rule 22. So for while cancelling the registration, the proper officer will follow the procedure which is given in rule 22, guys. Clear? Yes. Next. Grant of registration to a person supplying online information and database access or retrieval services from a place outside India to a non-resident, non-taxable online recipient. You can observe even this person is covered under section 24, guys. Who is he? He is a person from outside India who is providing some online information and database access or retrieval services to a person in India who is unregistered. So the recipient is in India who is unregistered. So the supplier is outside India. What is he doing? He is giving some OIDAR services. In short, we call it as, okay, online information and database access or retrieval services. So in short, we call it as, just a second, OIDAR services. Clear? Yes, sir. So supplier is outside India, recipient is in India, but is unregistered. So in that case, section 24 is telling supplier should take registration in India. Only in this case. Clear? In any other case of import and export, the recipient should be registered in India. Only in this case, actually, they're asking the supplier to get registered in India. Okay. So section 24 is telling he has to get registered. Rule 24 is telling how to get. How will he get registered? So sub rule 1. Any person supplying online information and database access or retrieval services from a place outside India to a non-taxable online recipient. So the recipient is in India who is non-registered. He is not registered in India. shall electronically submit an application for registration duly signed or verified through electronic verification form, okay, in REG 10. So you should submit an application for registration in GST REG 10 at the common portal, that is gst.gov.in. Okay. The applicant referred to in subrule 1 shall be granted registration in form REG 6 subject to such conditions and restrictions and by such officer as may be notified by the central government on the recommendation of council. So the registration will be granted to this OIDAR person, means who is applying this service in REG 6. So registration certificate for anyone will be actually granted in REG 6 only, guys. Applications will be made by different people in different forms, but registration certificate for everyone will be granted in REG 6 only. Yeah. So here in this table, I have covered some summary of the forms, guys. Yeah. With respect to registration and all, whatever form numbers are there, and who will submit it within what time and for what purpose. Yeah. I repeat, which form will be filed by whom, and form will be filed with someone. So with whom is he filing? Okay. Then for what purpose are they filing it? Then what is the time limit? Because there is some time limit for filing each and every forms. Yeah. So what is it also is given. So they will not ask you in the exam like explain all the forms whichever is applicable under registration and all. But to explain any answer, any of this point will be helpful for you guys. Yeah, like application should be made in which form. So what is the procedure? Everything I have given here in detail. Yeah. So what is it? We will see. And it is good if you remember at least this form numbers, guys. REG 10 1 to 11. After this also there are various registration forms. That is optional for you. If possible, remember. If not, okay. But this form numbers at least try to remember. And who will file it within what time? Try to remember those things. Fine. Chalo, let us start. Form GST REG 1. Applicant who is willing or liable to register under GST. So he will use it. An application for grant of registration to be submitted electronically. So this REG 1 is an application for registration. Okay. Within 30 days of becoming liable for registration. So it has to be filed within 30 days as per section 25(1). Let me mention that also. So as per section 25(1), it has to be filed within 30 days. Okay, sir. Next, REG 1. Once a person make an application in GST portal, so application is online, you cannot go physically and submit it. So on GST portal, you will make an application. So once your application is made, an acknowledgement will be generated. It is not a registration certificate, only acknowledgement telling your application has been submitted. It is just a proof for submission of application. So that acknowledgement will be granted or issued for you in the form of REG 2. It is auto-generated there. Clear? Means once you submit your application online on GST portal, so on the submission, once you submit the button, once you click the submit button, you will get an acknowledgement in REG 2. So on receipt of application, an acknowledgement shall be issued electronically to the applicant. Okay, an acknowledgement will be granted or issued. That it is not a proof for your registration. It is just a proof for submission of application. Okay, registration certificate is different, guys. Next, 3. Now, proper officer, you have submitted the application. He is not satisfied. He wants some more information. He wants some more documents. Whatever information you have given in the application is not satisfied. So he wants some more clarification, documents, information. Can he ask for? Yes. He can issue a show cause notice to you. Assume you are the person who has made an application. So the proper officer can issue a show cause notice. Within 7 days of receiving your application, he can issue a show cause notice. Yeah. So what is it? GST REG 3, proper officer. Where the application submitted is found to be deficient or where the proper officer requires any clarification with regard to any information provided in the application or documents furnished therewith, within 7 working days from the date of submission of application. So within 7 days of receiving the application, he can send a notice to you. Okay. Once he send a notice to you, what will you do? Obviously, I need to respond for it. You need to respond for it within what time? Within 7 working days. So in what form? REG4. So REG3 is the form to issue notice. REG4 is to respond to it. So in GST REG4, an applicant, so the person who has applied for the registration, that is you in this example, applicant shall furnish such clarification, information or document sought by the proper officer. So whatever information the proper officer has asked in the notice, you will respond to it in GST REG4. Okay, within what time? Within 7 working days from the date of receipt of such intimation. Okay, sir. Next. Next. GST REG5. Proper officer. So proper officer, okay, you have issued a, proper officer has issued a notice to you and you have responded for it, but still he is not satisfied. He is not happy. So he is not willing to grant registration for you. So he will reject your application. So you will reject the application and pass an order telling your registration certificate is rejected in REG5. Okay, so your application has been rejected. So the order will be passed in what? REG5. Where no reply is furnished by the applicant. So assume you are not at all replied for a notice within 7 days. In that case, where no reply is furnished by the applicant in response to a notice issued within the prescribed period, or where the proper officer is not satisfied with the reply, you have replied within 7 days but is not happy with your reply. You are not given again the proper details. He shall, for the reasons to be recorded in writing, reject such application and inform the applicant electronically. So your application will be rejected and you will be informed in REG5 that your registration is, your application for registration is rejected. Clear, guys? Okay, sir. Next, another possibility. Sir, now proper officer is happy, sir. He is happy with my application. So there are two possibilities here again. I have made an application. Within 7 working days, everything is fine. So registration certificate will be granted. Registration certificate straight away will be granted. Or else, within 7 working days, if the proper officer requires any information, you will give a notice in 3. I will respond to it in 4, GST REG4. And if he is satisfied with it, within 7 working days of receiving the reply, he will grant me the registration. He will grant me the registration. So registration certificate will always be granted for all. I can mention it for all. In REG6, guys. In REG6, proper officer will grant it. Approval of grant of registration to the applicant, that is issue of registration certificate. Actually, here I have mentioned in all cases. So whoever is applying for registration, for them, if registration certificate is granted, it will always be granted in REG6. Okay, sir. Within 7 working days from the date of submission of application, or within 7 working days from the date of receipt of reply to the show cause notice by the applicant. Clear? I will explain you by drawing the chart now till here, till 6. Let me just draw a chart and explain you guys. You can also take down, but first listen. First listen, listen, understand, and then you can take down, guys. Yeah, just a second, let me explain. First let me draw it, then I will explain it. Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. Now, let me start explaining. Now, a person is liable for registration, guys. And we have seen when and all is liable for registration as per section 22, 23, 24. Okay, sir. So we are talking about normal persons. So not, see here, normal person does not include NRTP, TDS, TCS, that online OIDAR services. Okay, for them and all, different applications are there. So I am not talking about them. A person is liable for registration. Yes, he has to apply for registration within 30 days. Agree? Yes, sir. Within 30 days, he will apply for registration. Okay. Once he apply for registration, within 7 days. Within 7 days. So application will be made in REG1. GST will always be a common. Form GST will always be a common. So here REG1. So application will be made in REG1 for registration. Within 7 days, the proper officer has two choice. PO means proper officer here. PO means what? Proper officer. He has two choice. Application, if he is satisfied completely with the application, application is approved and registration will be granted. So registration will be granted in what form? REG6. REG6. Or else, if he is not satisfied with the application, he will issue a show cause notice to you. He will issue a show cause notice to you in REG3 telling, I need some more information, clarification, documents, whatever he asks for, he will ask it. Okay. So both the things he has to do within 7 days of submitting the application, guys. Okay. So now he has issued a notice within 7 days, within actually 7 working days, 7 working days. Let me talk. Or even if you write within 7 days, fine. So within 7 working days, I need to reply to a show cause notice. Who? Applicant will reply. In REG4. In REG4, the applicant will reply to a show cause notice. Okay. So I have replied for a show cause notice. Now within 7 days, within 7 days, proper officer, that is after receiving the reply or after I give the reply, within 7 days, the proper officer has two choice. If he is satisfied with whatever reply I have given, he will accept and grant me the registration certificate in REG6. If not, he will reject my application in REG5, guys. REG5. Yeah, so this is the complete procedure. I have tried to explain here. So you guys, if you want, you can take down this. Just a second. Yeah, from here. So like how I have used different colors for writing the days and REG forms, you can also use different colors, guys, so that it would be easy for you when you are studying. So start from, a person is liable for registration. He has to apply for registration within 30 days. Okay, so apply for registration in REG1. Once the application is made, within 7 working days, the proper officer will have two choice. If he is completely satisfied with my application, he will grant my registration and issue the registration certificate in REG6. Or if he is not satisfied with my application, he will issue a show cause notice asking for more clarification, documents or information. In REG3, he will send me the notice. And once I receive notice, within 7 days, I need to reply for that notice in REG 4. And once I reply, within 7 days of receiving that reply, again proper officer will have two choice. If he is satisfied with my reply, whatever I have given in the for the notice, he will accept it and registration certificate will be granted in REG 6, or else he will reject my application in REG 5, guys. Easy. So if it is like this, in one shot, you can analyze all the things in a flow. Clear? Yes, sir. And if anyone can draw this chart in Microsoft Word, and if you can mail it to me on my email ID, which is given at the beginning of the book, it will be great for me. So let me just display it in one shot. I don't know whether it is visible or not. Hope it is visible for you guys. Yeah, chalo. Let me proceed. Please do take down that in your notebook. Next, let us continue. There are some more forms. Who will use it for what purpose? REG 7. Any person required to deduct tax under section 51 or persons required to collect tax at source under section 52. So whoever is covered under section 51 and 52, they have to get mandatory registration. Okay. And they will make application in what? REG 7, guys. REG 7. Application for registration will be made in REG 7. Okay, sir. Next. So for them, one is not applicable. They have different form. Next, REG 8. That is the registration granted to him. If the proper officer feels, okay, it is no more required, he can cancel the registration and issue an order in REG 8. So REG 8 is communication of cancellation of registration of a person required to deduct tax under section 51 or persons required to collect tax at source at 52. Clear? So please be careful. This is with respect to cancellation of persons who are covered under 51 and 52. There is different cancellation which is covered under section 29, which is for normal persons. Clear? This REG 8 is used to communicate the cancellation order whoever was registered under section 51 or 52 only, not for others. For others, we have different procedure. We will see that. Okay. Next, coming to REG 9, NRTP. That is non-resident taxable person will make an application for a grant of registration in REG 9 at least 5 days prior to commencement of business, guys. So this 5 days thing is given in the proviso to section 25(1). Agree? Sir, what about CTP? That is casual taxable person. For CTP, REG 1 only is applicable. Okay, he's anyway from India, na? So for him, he can make the application in REG 1 only. Whereas for NRTP, so some additional information should and all be asked. That is, you are from which country? So you will not be having PAN. So you will give some valid passport or any other document. So for him, the form number is different, which will be asking different requirements. Clear? Yes, sir. Then the person who is providing OIDAR services from outside India, he will make application in REG 10. REG 10. So application for grant of registration to be submitted electronically. You can see all these three people, guys. All these three people. Okay, just a second. Let me draw flower bracket. This doesn't look good. So 7. Yeah. These people. So 8 in between is with respect to cancellation. So I can tell 7, 9, 10. Whoever are covered, they are covered under section 24, for whom registration is mandatory, guys. Even casual taxable person is covered, but casual taxable person will make an application for registration in REG 1. Now, in section 27, we saw the casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person, they will take registration for maximum 90 days, but again, they can request for extension. So should they make the application for asking for extension? Yes, in REG 11. So REG 11 is a registered casual taxable person or a non-resident taxable person application for extension of the period of registration indicated in his registration application. So please be very careful with this, guys. CTP will make an application for registration in REG 1. NRTP will make an application for registration in REG 9. But both of them will ask for the extension of their registration in REG 11. For extension, the common form is there, that is REG 11. Yeah, it is easy to remember. You have already got a registration. Now you are asking for some more extension or one more. So 1 plus 1, 11. 1 plus 1 is 2, but still 1 plus 1. So it looks like 1 plus 1, 11. Clear? Clear, guys? Easy. And here, this form numbers also, if you follow the flow, like how I have given in the chart here, it will be easy to remember the flow, form number, guys. And even the days, within how many days, what has to be done, all those things. Clear? So hope you guys have taken down this chart so that it will be easy. Now you study it from here. But when you guys are revising or studying later, it would be easy for you guys to study from here. Clear? Shall we proceed? Yes. Yeah. Done with all this. And this is not the end list of the REG forms. There are a lot more REG forms, guys. That is GST REG forms still are there. Many are there. With respect to amendment, cancellation, revocation, we still have a forms. But I suggest you guys to remember at least this many form numbers. Yeah. Those form numbers will be optional for you, whichever we would be covering later. But till here, that is from 1 to 11, it is important for you guys. Yeah, means try to remember them. At least, especially, okay, I will tell you what are very, very important. REG 1 is very important. The 6 is very, very important. Then other forms. If there is any questions on the TDS, TCS person, NRTP and all, it is always good if you mention that form numbers. Your answer will definitely have weightage, guys. And the evaluator will be impressed by your answers. When you are mentioning the form number, days, or whatever is required for that question. Yeah. Yes, sir. Chalo. Next. Display of registration certificate and GST IN, that is GST identification number. Rule 18 of CGST rules provided that. So, Rule 18, what is telling is, whoever has been granted registration certificate in REG 6, they have to display it in their place of business. Okay. Now, Arivu is having an office. So, they have taken the registration under GST. So, whatever registration certificate is granted to him, they will normally display it in the reception or in the entry or in the common sitting place. Agree? So, they have to display it at the place where they are doing the business. And also in their additional place of business, if they are having branches and all, so there also a copy will be displayed that we are registered under GST. This is our GST IN number. Okay. Next, they are also asking you as per Rule 18 to display your GST identification number on your name board. So normally every companies or every office would have displayed a name board. Agree? So they are asking you to disclose your GST identification number in that board or on that board. Clear? Yes. Rule 18 of CGST rules provides that every registered person shall display his certificate of registration in a prominent location at his principal place of business and at every additional place or places of business. A copy will be displayed there at a prominent place. Prominent place, you decide where exactly. Okay. Next, in your office. Then sub rule 2, every registered person shall display his GST identification number, that is GST IN, on the name board exhibited at the entry of his principal place of business and at every place or places of business. So GST identification number has to be disclosed on the name board of a registered person. Next, coming to advantages and disadvantages. What is the advantages of getting registration under GST? And is there any disadvantages? Yes. So what are those? Registration under GST regime will confer following advantages to the business. What are those? So once I am registered, I am legally recognized as the supplier of goods or services. I am legally recognized as a supplier of goods or services under GST. Okay. Next, proper accounting of taxes paid on inward supply which can be utilized for payment of GST due on outward supply of goods or services or both. Now, if I am registered under GST, I can claim input tax on the tax paid on the inward supply. So obviously, I will maintain a proper record of the things. Agree? Because if I don't maintain proper record, I cannot claim the credit. So at least for the purpose of claiming credit, I will maintain the proper data. Next, legally authorized to collect tax from his purchasers and pass on the credit of taxes paid on the goods or services supplied to purchasers or recipients. Now, if I am registered under GST, whatever outward supply I am making, I am liable to pay GST. But I am legally eligible to collect it from my customers and give it to the government. And my customers also, if they are registered under GST, they can claim the input tax credit on whatever taxes they have paid to me. Clear? Yes, sir. The last point, getting eligible to avail various other benefits and privileges rendered under the GST laws. Getting eligible to avail various other benefits and privileges rendered under GST laws, because various benefits and all is given only for the persons who are registered under GST. Then, sir, what are the disadvantages if I don't get registered under GST? What are those? Where a person is not registered under the GST regime, he can neither collect GST from his customer, he cannot collect the tax from his customer, nor he can claim any input tax credit of GST paid by him on inward supply. These are the two important main disadvantages if you don't get registered under GST. You cannot collect tax from your customer and you cannot claim input tax credit of whatever tax you have paid on your inward supply, because only registered persons can claim credit. Next, besides, where a person fails to get registration, even though he is required to take under the provisions of CGST Act, he shall be liable to penal provisions under this Act. Sir, I was liable to get registered, but I don't want to take registration. Then you will be penalized for it. You are liable for penal provisions. Sir, what is that? It is given in section 122 subsection 1. What is it? As per section 122 subsection 1 of CGST Act, if a taxable person means what? Registered person is different, taxable person is different. We have learned that at the beginning of this chapter. Taxable person means a person who is registered or the person who is liable to be registered under GST. So taxable person covers a person who is not registered but liable to be registered under GST. Yes, sir. Whereas registered person means the person who has actually registered under GST. So here they are talking about taxable person. If a taxable person who is liable to be registered under CGST Act but fails to obtain registration shall be liable to pay a penalty of 10,000. So you will be liable to pay a penalty of 10,000 or an amount equivalent to the tax evaded, means how much tax he was supposed to pay but not paid, that amount, or the tax not deducted, so he was supposed to deduct TDS, he is not deducted, or deducted but not paid to the government, whichever is higher. So the penalty will be minimum 10,000 or the actual amount of tax which you are supposed to pay, whichever is higher. 10,000 or the amount of tax whichever you are supposed to pay or deduct, whichever is higher. Clear? Yes, sir. So this is all about this provisions. We have some more sections, that is section 28, 29 and 30. These are like miscellaneous sections here. After obtaining registration, you can make certain changes. Your registration can be cancelled and all. So we will see that later. We will cover the problems, remaining problems, guys. We will do section 28, 29, 30 later. I think in our previous class, we have covered the problems till question number 5. We have done till 5. Now we will start with 6, guys. Ganga. Chalo, come to question number 6. Ready? Yes. Ganga Company Limited commenced business on 1st July 2018. It applied for registration on 5th August 2018 after 1 month after 30 days. Observe the dates. Okay. Okay, sir. The registration was granted on 7th August 2018. What is the effective date of registration? Come on, guys. As per rule 10, what is the effective date of registration? 7th August. That is the date of grant of registration. Okay. Now, instead of 1st July 2018, if it had commenced the business on 20th July 2018, what would be your answer? So you are commencing business on 20th July. So you applied for registration on 5th August. So registration is granted on 7th August. So have you applied within 30 days? Yes, sir. In that case, your effective date of registration would be 20th July, as you applied for registration within 30 days as per rule 10. Clear? And here in this question, you need to assume that the date on which the person is commencing the business is liable for GST registration, is liable for registration, because with respect to turnover, they have not given any information on the date of commencing the business. So it is understood that the day on the date on which he is commencing the business is liable for registration, guys. Okay, and I have given a note for it in the solution. We will see that. Still, there is a continuation of question. Ganga Company Limited is an authorized dealer of two-wheelers vehicle. Its sales turnover was 125 lakhs for the year ended 31st March 2019. That is his first year of business. He has made a turnover of 125 lakh. Okay. It wants to provide after sales service to customers amounting to 7 lakh in the next year. So it wants to provide some service, after sales service in the next year, which amounts to 7 lakh. They are trying to estimate it. Is it eligible for composition levy for the financial year 1920? So are they eligible for composition scheme? That is in the next year. Next year, 1920 means next year, next financial year. Yeah. So they have tested some part of section 10 also. So here there is relevance for 2-3 provisions which we have to cover. What are those? We will see one by one. As per rule 10, the effective date of registration shall be, in case the application is submitted within 30 days of the person becoming liable to register, it shall be the date on which the person becomes liable to registration. And if the application is submitted after 30 days of the person becoming liable to register, it shall be the date on which the registration is granted to such person. Clear? So if the application is made within 30 days, the date on which he is liable to register. Or if the application is made after 30 days, the date of grant of registration, guys. Clear? Yes, sir. Next. And see, before this rule 10, you can also mention section 25(1). Okay, like this. As per section 25(1), the person liable for registration has to apply for registration within 30 days. Within 30 days. You can mention that also before mentioning rule 10. In the given case, Ganga Company Limited commenced business on 1st July 2018, but applied for registration on 5th August. That is after 30 days, guys. And it was granted on 7th July 2018. Since the application for registration has been made after the expiry of 30 days, from the date when it was liable to obtain registration, the effective date of registration would be the date of grant of registration, which is 7th August 2018. So the effective date of registration is the date of grant of registration as per rule 10, because the application was made after 30 days. However, there was one more sub question there. However, if Ganga Company Limited had commenced business on 20th July 2018, the application for registration submitted within 30 days on 7th August. Hence, the effective date of registration would be 20th July. 20th July, that is the date on which it commenced the business, as the application is made within 30 days. Clear? Note, I have given a note here. It is assumed that Ganga Company Limited is liable for registration under GST on the date of commencement of its business, because there is no clarity with respect to that. So that is why I have just given a note to be on the safer side. Okay. So even when sometimes if the question is not very clear on any item, so please try to give a note like this. Okay. And whatever you are assuming should be the appropriate assumption. You cannot assume something and all. So whatever assumption we are making should be an appropriate assumption for the given question. Okay, let us continue. Now coming to the next part of the question. As per proviso to section 10 of CGST Act, a registered person opting to pay tax under a composition scheme under section 10(1) can, apart from manufacture of or supply of goods, can provide marginal service not exceeding 10% of the total turnover of the preceding year of or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Correct, na? So there is two composition scheme. We are talking about the first one, 10-1, because here he was the supplier of some goods. Which was that goods? Authorized dealer of two-wheeler vehicles. So he was supplying goods. Question is, for supply of motor vehicles, is he eligible for composition scheme? Yes. 10-1 composition scheme is available for three people: manufacturers, traders, and restaurant suppliers. Clear? So for motor vehicle, he can opt for composition scheme. But in the next year, he also wants to provide one service. Can he still continue under composition scheme? Yes. Why? Because whoever is covered under section 10.1 can also provide the marginal service as per the proviso to section 10.1, which tells that marginal service is there na. So the turnover from that marginal service should be 5 lakh rupees or 10% of the preceding year's turnover, whichever is higher. So if the turnover from that marginal service is within that limit, yes, you can still follow the composition scheme under section 10.1, including that service. Now let us check. In this case, the annual turnover for the year ended 31st March 2019 is 125 lakhs. Okay. 10% of that, because they want to follow a composition scheme for next year, for which they're also providing service, guys. Please be careful. So service, they want to provide it for next year. That is what they are given. So 10% of the total turnover of the preceding year is 12.5 lakh. Okay, we are checking the composition scheme eligibility for next year, that is for 1920. Okay, so last year turnover was 125 lakh. 10% of that is 12.5 lakh or the limit of 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Okay, hence the higher of the two limits is 12.5 lakhs. The amount to be received by way of supply of service is 7 lakhs. So they are expecting that from the service they will be receiving 7 lakh for the financial year 1920, which is less than 12.5 lakhs. So is it within the limit? Yes, sir. Can they follow composition scheme even for that service, marginal service? Yes, they can follow. Therefore, Ganga Company Limited is eligible for composition levy under section 10.1 for the financial year 1920, including that marginal service. Is that clear, guys? Yeah. Just go through this solution one. Actually, interesting one this is. Means they are tried to connect two different provisions, registration along with composition scheme. Yeah. Let me go to the next question. Whenever you feel something is challenging, so please pause it there, pause the video, go through the solution question once, guys. Okay, so you should have a proper clarity. If you already have understood, good, you can proceed. If not, please watch the thing or read the question solution once and then proceed. Yeah, chalo. 7th one. A person dealing in the supply of taxable goods is doing business since 1st January 21. He crossed the mandatory threshold for registration 40 lakhs on 22nd January 2021. So the threshold limit for registration, I think he's supplying only goods. Yeah, he's supplying only goods. So threshold limit for the exclusive supplier of goods within the state is 40 lakh. Okay, sir. Which state and all they are not given. They only told threshold limit as 40 lakh is crossed on 22nd. So you have to understand that, okay, in this case, the threshold limit applicable for him was 40 lakh. Next, he was required to get registered under GST within 1 month by 21st February 2021. That is 1 month in the sense 30 days from 22nd January. He did not get himself registered if his tax liability is of 85,900. State the consequences of his not registering under GST law. So he is not registered under GST. So he was liable to get registered on what date? 22nd January 2021. Okay, so within 30 days. So how to count the 30 days? Simple, exclude this date on which he was liable. So totally 31 days in January, deduct 22 days from that, even that including the date on which he was liable. Okay, you will get how many days? 9 days. Then still totally you require 30 days. Still how many days are pending? Balancing figure 21 days. So the 30th day, you have to take exactly the 30th day, which is 21st February. So on or before 21st February, you are supposed to make the application for registration, but the person has not made it. And what is the tax he was supposed to pay? 85,900. He has failed to take the registration. He has failed to make the application for registration. In that case, he will be liable for penal provision. Under penal provision, which is given under section 122, a person is liable to pay a penalty of 10,000 or is tax liability, whichever is higher. So how much is liable to pay as a penalty? 85,900. 85,900. Chalo guys. Let us see this. It is asked in June 21 for 4 marks. According to section 22 subsection 1 of Central Goods and Service Tax Act, read with notification, because this 40 lakh limit is given in notification, that is why I have written read with notification. Every person making exclusive supply of taxable goods beyond the threshold limit of 40 lakh in a financial year is required to get registered under the Act. Further, according to section 25 subsection 1, every person liable to be registered under the Act shall apply for registration within 30 days from the date on which he becomes liable for registration. Yes. Next, according to section 122, so one by one. According to section 122 subsection 1, everywhere subsection 1 you can see, of Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2017, if a taxable person who is liable to be registered under CGST Act 2017 but fails to obtain registration, he shall be liable to pay a penalty of rupees 10,000. So 10,000 is a minimum amount, or an amount equivalent to tax evade, or the tax not deducted or short deducted but not paid to the government, whichever is higher. So in simple, in this case, so the amount which you are supposed to pay the tax 85,900, which is evaded, which he has not paid, he is not registered, means obviously would have not paid it. So the amount are 10,000, whichever is higher. How much? 85,900. Hence, in this case, the person is liable to pay a penalty of 85,900. That is his tax liability. Clear, guys? Yes. Chalo. Next, 8th one. This is actually challenging question. Okay, this is a challenging question, but let me first explain this. This question is actually based on some case law, but still you can answer it. What is it? First, let me explain. See, guys, with respect to case laws, sir, is case laws important? What provisions are applicable for case laws is important. Sir, should we remember the case laws name and all? No, guys, not required, because there are a lot of case laws which is not possible for you guys to remember. Even in the exams, they are not asked like exactly write the case law number or name, something like that. But whatever provisions is applicable for that case law, we would have covered it in the respective sections or in the respective rules. So you need not worry about it. So if they ask any question, they will not directly ask you, explain that case law, this case law, they will not ask you. So they will definitely give a scenario for you. They will give you a scenario like however they have asked you. You can see here also they have given a situation and asked you to explain it. Agree? Same way here also. So they have asked you a scenario, or they have given you a scenario or situation. They have asked you to tell whether it is correct or not. Clear? So let me explain this. There is a foreign company outside India. So they have set up a license office in India. Okay. They have set up a license office in India. So who is license office means? What is it doing is they just represent a line of communication. Okay. So assume an Apple company from USA has set up a license office in India. What this license office do is they will just act as a communication between the suppliers who are supplying the iPhones in India and an Apple company in USA. They're just acting as a middleman here. So this license office is just acting as a channel of communication between the head office, which is in USA, and between the suppliers who are in India. They are not charging any extra amount for the head office, which is in USA. The head office is just reimbursing whatever expenses are incurred by the license office in India on behalf of the head office. The head office is just reimbursing it to the license office. So license office obviously is not giving any services for which they are charging the amount to head office. They are not charging any amount to head office. So license office, what they are doing is whatever expenses they have incurred in India, they're just recovering it, or the head office is reimbursing that expenses. That's all. So the question is the services provided by license office taxable in India? Are they providing anything? No, actually. Why? Because license office is not providing any direct services to head office for which they are charging separate consideration. They are not charging any amount for it. They are just acting as a channel of communication. That's all. They are not engaged in any trading. They are not entering into any contract in India. Head office will enter the contract with suppliers. Power is not given to license office. No power is given to them. They will not enter into any contract. They don't do any trading activities here. So in that case, should license office pay tax? No. Should they get registered in GST? No. That is what is given in this question, guys. Chalo, let us see that. Tax mark incorporation of USA, like how we call limited in India. Na? So for a private company, we call private limited, and for a public company, limited. So in USA, they call incorporation, INC. Yeah, yes. Tax mark incorporation of USA establish a license office in Mumbai for the purpose of licensing with the suppliers for purchase of raw material. So this USA company is purchasing raw material from India. Okay. So just to communicate with them, they have set up a license office in India. The purchase order or contracts were entered into with the supplier directly by the head office. So directly head office is entering the contract with the suppliers in India. License office did not enter into any contract with any of the suppliers. Payment were also made by the head office directly to the suppliers. So payment also is made directly by the head office to the suppliers. The expenses incurred by the license office are reimbursed by the head office. Okay, whatever expenses the license office is incurring in India, the head office is reimbursing it. There is no amount excessively charged by the license office to the head office. Is the amount received by the license office liable to GST as a supply of service? No, they are not charging any extra amount. Whatever expenses they have incurred, they are just taking a reimbursement of that. That's all. Is the license office required to get registered under the GST law? Should they get registered under GST law is the question. Yeah, yes. So just first, I have just in the first paragraph, I have just mentioned what is license office, what do they do exactly. Solution: the license office does not undertake any activity of trading, commercial or industrial nature. It does not enter into any business contracts. It does not charge any commission, fee or remuneration for the license activities, whatever they are doing in India, or services rendered by it, either from the suppliers or from the head office. So they're not charging any amount for head office or for the suppliers in India. Okay. It just acts as a channel of communication between the head office and entity in India. Okay, or suppliers in India. In the given case, the tax mark incorporation of USA has established a license office in Mumbai for licensing with the suppliers for purchase of raw materials, that is for communicating or coordinating with them. The purchase order or contracts were entered into with the suppliers directly by the head office. License office did not enter into any contract with any of the suppliers. Payment were also made by the head office directly to the suppliers. The expenses incurred by license office are reimbursed by the head office. There is no amount excessively charged by the license office to the head office. They are not charged anything excess. Okay, so there is no margin for them. There is no profit, nothing for them. Agree? So all these are the points to prove that license office is not liable to get registered under GST in India, guys. So the head office merely reimburses the expenses incurred by the license office on actual expenditure basis without any markup. They are not charging any amount. For example, if they have incurred 10,000 expenses, they are just taking the reimbursement of 10,000. It is not like, okay, if they have incurred 10,000, they are charging 12,000 to the head office. Nothing like that. There is no source of income for the license office and it is solely dependent on the head office for all the expenses incurred by it, and therefore the head office and license office cannot be treated as separate persons. They are one and the same. Clear? Because nothing, the license office is not at all operating for profit. They are not doing anything for profit purpose. They are not charging any amount extra. So the license office does not render any consultancy services directly or indirectly with or without consideration, and does not have significant commitment powers. The amount received by license office hence cannot be treated as amount received towards supply of service. They are just taking the reimbursement of whatever expenses they have incurred. Since it is not in furtherance of business of license office, it is not required to get registered under GST. So license office in India is not required to get registered, guys. Is not required to get registered. This is the ultimate conclusion. Yeah, we have one more question. It's actually on cancellation part, which we have not yet covered. We will see that question later. So we'll close this video here, guys. Yeah. We will close this video here. We are yet to cover 3 more sections. That is section 28, 29 and 30. We will cover it in the next video, guys. Clear? So until then, bye. See you. Take care, guys.